What's up, you guys? It's Mark here. Thanks so much for tuning into my channel. I'm so excited today because I'm going to talk to you about my 5 favorite shortcuts in Microsoft Excel. If you've been around my channel a little bit, you know I love my shortcuts. And these are going to be the 5 shortcuts that I feel like would save you so much time in your daily Excel work. They've saved me so much time. They're pretty fundamental, so I'm excited to share them with you. And if there's only 5 shortcuts you know in Excel and it's these 5, I think you're going to be great. So I hope you guys are just as excited as me to do this. Let's jump in. Here's a simple Excel table where I have 10 employees of a hypothetical company, their department, their salary, their bonus, and their total compensation. The first shortcut that I want to teach you guys is Paste Special. The way I use Paste Special is by hitting Control-Alt-V, but first we need to copy something. So let's say we need to add some more employees to this list, but as you can see it's formatted to end at employee number 10. What Paste Special allows you to do is you can paste specifically the format of a cell, the formula in a cell, the entirety of the cell, or the value in a cell. So in this case, if I just want to make this list longer to start, I'm going to paste the format in the bottom 3 or 4 cells. So I'm going to highlight them by holding Shift and using my down arrow key and going to the right while still holding Shift. I'm going to Control-C, copy that, and I'm going to go down to the very last row and hit Control-Alt-V. Now that brings up the Paste Special menu. I'm going to hit T, which goes to formats. As you can see, the T is underlined here. If I wanted formulas, I could just type F on my keyboard. If I wanted values, I could type V. But here I'm just going to type a T for formats. And if I hit Enter and paste that, and I click out, you can see that now this list looks like it's formatted for 13 employees. So that's using Paste Special to paste a format. Say I wanted to add employee number 11, and they're going to be in research and development. All right, and I just tab over their salary. Let's say, I don't know, 37,000. Bonus now, let's make their bonus the same as this bonus. So one other way you can use Paste Special. In this case, I could just paste everything and it's not going to make a difference. But if I say I just wanted the value of that bonus, I could hit V here. And you can see that the radio button of values is selected. And if I hit Enter, it's going to put that value right in that cell. And then the last way to use Paste Special is pasting formulas. So as you can see, this total compensation column is essentially the sum of salary and bonus. So if I copy that down, again, I can just copy everything in this case because it's not going to mess up the formatting or anything like that. But if I Control-V, I know I just want the formula, so I can hit that. And now this formula comes down, which sums up 37,000 and 5,500. There are other things that you can do with Paste Special that I like. I have another video on that, so if you want to dive more into that, check it out. So Control-Alt-V is my first favorite shortcut. My next favorite shortcut is going to be Alt-H-O-I. Now, if you're not familiar with shortcuts, when you hit Alt, it activates the shortcut command, and you can see there's letters that pop up up here on the menu bar. And if you hit Alt-H and then you hit O, it takes you over here to Format. And if you hit I, it's going to take you to Autofit Column Width. So I know a lot of people, when they want to autofit columns, they use their mouse, they come up here and they double click. And that essentially takes the cell with the most characters and it autofits the column to make sure you can read everything in the longest cell. I'm going to Control-Z, and we're going to do that a different way. The other way to do it is to go into the cell that you know is longest, or if it's a lot of data and it's a long column and you're not sure which cell is the longest, you can hit Control Spacebar, and that'll just highlight the entire column so that you know when you auto size, Excel is going to know which cell is the longest and it's going to auto fit automatically to that one, even if you don't know it. So I'm going to highlight the whole column and I'm going to hit Alt-H-O-I. You don't hold down Alt, you just hit it. Hit the Alt key, the H key, the O key, and the I key in succession. And it's going to auto size that column. And now we can see research and development is fully shown. Another shortcut I like to do kind of on top of Alt-H-O-I because I think this is still a little bit snug for me. I'll use Alt-H-O, which is the same starting shortcut, but instead of hitting I, I'm going to hit W. And that's going to bring up the column width menu. And I can see that the current column width is about 23.4, whatever unit that is. I actually don't even know. But let's say if I want to give it a little extra space, I might make that like 26 and hit enter. And now it's just a little less snug. I kind of like that a little better. I think that's a little bit better aesthetics. So Alt-HOI, auto-fitting a column, is the second of my favorite shortcuts. My third favorite shortcut is actually 4 shortcuts rolled into one logical shortcut succession. So inserting rows, deleting rows, inserting columns, and deleting columns. Say, for example, I want to know what percentage bonus an employee got as a percentage of their own salary. And I want to put it after this bonus field. What I can do is insert a column here, and how I do that is using Alt-H, IC. So if you think of insert column as IC, delete column is going to be DC, insert row is going to be IR, and delete row is going to be DR. So it's very logical in terms of what you want to do. Just think through it. Insert column, Alt-H, that's the basis, IC. All right, if you want to delete a column, Alt-H, DC. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to insert a column here using Alt-H, IC. And it's good to know that it's going to insert the column to the left. And when you insert a row, it's going to insert it above. And then if you delete one, it's just going to delete wherever your cursor is, it's going to delete that column or that row. So I'm not going to fill this in now, but this is essentially going to be the percentage of bonus. Same thing down here. Let's say I want to add, maybe up to 15 employees. So I can just simply do Alt-H and insert row, so IR, and that's going to insert a row. And if I highlight multiple rows right here, I hit Alt-H, IR, it's going to insert, since I have 4 rows selected, it's going to insert 4 rows above wherever that top point is. So now I just inserted 4 more rows down there. So it's a quick way to insert a lot of rows at a time. If you want, if you're going to have 100 employees, you can just insert rows, and now you have the space for that. And if you add too many, again, you just select whatever you want. Alt-H, DR will delete those rows, so you can make it smaller. Alt-H, DR, Alt-H, DR. And now it's a little bit smaller, and this is kind of where we need it for now. So I know I might be cheating. I know the title is 5 different shortcuts, and this one is technically 4 bundled into one, but I think the logical progression makes this one only one shortcut. Next, let's fill out the percentage bonus field. And as we do this, I'm going to talk about the 4th shortcut. That's one of my favorites as well. So percentage bonus, I just want to know what percentage of their salary was their bonus. So if I just do 5,500 divided by 55,000 for this guy. Oh, so that's not what I want, but I'm just going to copy this formula down, holding shift and using my arrow key, Control V, like we learned, hit F for formulas. I'm going to copy that formula down. Now it's in the format of currency, which makes sense because if you insert a row, it just takes the format of the row next to it. But I want this to be a percentage, and that leads me into a next group of shortcuts. That's my 4th favorite, and that's Control Shift and using the number keys. So if I Control Shift and I hit a 5, which is where the percent is, that's going to make the format of whatever cells I have selected a percentage. So if I highlight all this, I'll hold Control Shift and use my down arrow key to just highlight that whole selection. And I hold Control Shift still and I hit 5, which is percentage. It's going to make that into a percent. Another useful one is Control Shift 4, which is dollars. So let's say I do want this in dollars for some reason. I can hold Control Shift and hit the dollar button, and now it's going to be formatted in terms of dollars with 2 decimal points. If I wanted it to be just a regular number, I could Control Shift and hit 1. And that's just going to make it a regular number, and it will have a comma separator for 1,000. But here we just want a percentage. Over here, it's like, let's say it's 10,000 employees or whatever, and I want there to be a comma separator. I'll do Control Shift 1, which makes it a number with that thousands comma. And then I'll hit Alt-H 9, which takes away a decimal point. Alt-H 0 will add a decimal point. Generally, when I have numbers, I like a comma separator for the thousands place, and I like no decimal points. And I'm going to Control Z. And when you get really fast at it, you can just hit Control Shift 1, Alt-H 9, Alt-H 9, and there you go. But I'm going to delete that and move on to the last shortcut, which is the mother of them all, the universal remote of shortcuts, and that is F4. What F4 does is it simply repeats the last command that you did. So for example, if I wanted to insert more rows here, and I hit Alt-H-I-R, and I want to insert one more row, instead of hitting Alt-H-I-R again, and that's 4 keystrokes, I can just hit F4. It repeats the last command that I do. So I can hit F4 as many times as I want, and it's just going to keep adding. I can even hold it down, and it's just going to keep adding, keep adding, keep adding, and now we have quite a few rows. Similarly, if I wanted to delete those, so Alt-H-D-R, deleted a row, now I can just hold F4 until it gets to the point where it's all the way back to where we want it. So you can do it for anything. I mean, it's really great in terms of, you can bold the salary. Let's say if I bold that, I go down, I hold Control Shift and hit the down arrow to highlight everything, and I hit F4. It's going to bold everything because I hit Control B to bold this one. And then I didn't have to hit Control B for these, I just have to hit F4. And let's say I want to highlight the total. I can just hit F4 again because the last command is still stored in Excel and it knows I bolded it. Say I wanted to make the total also maybe a different color, I can hit Alt-H-H to go into the color menu. Say I want to make it light blue, I can hit Enter, Control Shift down, hit F4. Now the total cell backgrounds are blue. So F4 is definitely one of my favorites because you can use it all the time. It also works in PowerPoint as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I was really excited to make this video. Comment down below, let me know which of the 5 is your favorite, which one you think is going to save you the most time, and give this video a thumbs up if you learned something. Subscribe for the latest videos, and if you haven't already, download my free Excel shortcut cheat sheet. There's a link to it in the description. It's going to have many shortcuts beyond just these 5, and you can look through that and see which ones might save you time apart from just these 5 that I showed you today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.